And welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. This is the continuation of my weekly kind of breakdown, minus spoilers of things I'm allowed to talk about before the actual episode airs. Thank you to Amazon once again for these individual episodes. So if you want it completely fresh, you shouldn't be watching this. Come back after you've seen the episode and you can chat down in the comments below. But for now, minus spoilers, episode kind of breakdown, what you can expect. If you don't mind those minus spoilers, let's jump in. I think this is the episode that people, I guess, might be most split on as to their enjoyment of it. I really enjoyed this episode because there's a lot that goes on in this episode. If you looked at the things I'm not allowed to talk about in this episode, it's a much longer list because there's so much moving parts. It's the arc that moves forward the most. We have seen those kind of puzzle pieces. We've seen the Soldier Boy reveal in the last episode, and there's a lot to do with Soldier Boy in this episode. What he's up to, why he is the way he is. There's a nice big background story as to how he got the way he is. What did the Russians do to him? All of that is revealed through different types of scenes with that. I'm not going to spoil for you here. I'm just going to say that he is featured prominently in this episode, and I think you're going to love seeing how he is done. I'm really enjoying the kind of, there's two juxtaposition characters that we've seen of him so far. One in the past where he was Soldier Boy, and then the after of what the Russians have done to him. And that character that he plays, I think he's playing perfectly. There's a presence to him. You do wonder what's going to happen when Soldier Boy and Homelander finally meet. You know that's going to happen. That's the kind of big clash. Will they become best friends and rule the world together, or will he destroy them? Kimiko, as we've seen, was attacked and she's in hospital. Frenchie's relationship with her there's a beautiful moment between Kimiko and Frenchie in hospital, but his past is catching up with him again. There's a scary insight into Butcher's psyche in this episode. We see how Butcher and Maeve have this ongoing relationship, and that kind of continues to evolve. But there's a bit of a conversation that reveals what he's actually thinking about all superheroes, regardless of what he thinks they're supposed to be, a good person, a good superhero, a bad superhero. What he wants to happen to all of them, reveals where he's at in his life, and him having taken V powers that last 24 hours gives him the ability to do that. So you do wonder, who is the monster? A-Train and Bruja have an altercation that changes A-Train's life. And I think you'll probably start now seeing that A-Train, I guess this is the way that they wanted the arc to go, to move A-Train to a place where he's more, they're humanizing him more, rather than just being that kind of caricature picture of him that he was in the Seven. Now he realizes the consequences of the world, or not being a part of his world, and seeing it confronted in his face very vividly with people that are part of his community that he hasn't really been a part of yet. We do see the Crimson Countess again in this episode, but I'm not going to say why or how. So we know the Deep is back. But the Deep is given a very interesting job, and he continues to be that character that I sometimes feel sorry for. You see Homelander do something to the Deep and you feel sorry for him, and then he'll say something. You just wonder how many brain cells the Deep actually has, because it feels like 100% that his wife is in the background. You can see her giving him notes, sending him texts, sending him a message, exactly what to say, when to say it. And I was just like, I don't feel like he's that dumb, but it does come across when he opens his mouth and it's not scripted. He's just saying the most ridiculous or harsh things. And so he does kind of need to be controlled that way. Where Starlight had a nice conversation with Maeve in the previous episode. This time round, it's Starlight and Huey. And Huey reveals to Starlight what's happened with Soldier Boy, what's happened with him and Powers, and their relationships are strained. And it's an interesting dynamic to see what unravels in that moment. This is the episode where those relationships, like I mentioned in previous episodes, those partnerships will now make decisions that will show the outcome of what's going to happen in the further few episodes. It's the changing point. Okay, now we've stepped over that moment. Decisions that will now affect the outcome of season 3 and probably 4. It's one of those, yeah, I'm not sure you should have made that decision. You're shouting at certain characters not to do that, but they do it anyway, and then you're just holding your breath because you're wondering what's going to happen. That's the feel and tone of this episode. A lot happens within the arc. It's worth watching, obviously, but it's not action heavy. There are action moments, but this is definitely kind of setting up 6, 7, and 8. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.